What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. During the last part, we saw Kakarot encounter his most fearsome foes yet, the other Saiyans. The fight itself wasn't particularly tough, rather what the fight represented was tough. It shows that Kakarot is now fully working with Turles, showing his loyalty to him. But is this loyalty long lasting, and is it mutual? Will Turles actually be a good ally for Kakarot? We'll be seeing all that and more in this part. For this video, let's set a like goal of 3,000 likes. Once we hit that, I'll continue with another part of the series. Anyways, let's pick up from here. Frieza is monitoring the whole situation, and of course, it wouldn't come to any surprise that the Saiyans died against whatever this threat was. Alright, he kind of expected that. Same with Zarbon and Doria. If these people were strong enough to kill the Ginyu Force, it only makes sense that they would be strong enough to kill these fighters as well. But this does give Frieza some valuable insight. He knows who's behind it. It's Kakarot and some other Saiyan named Turles. This infuriates him to no end. He knew the Saiyans couldn't be trusted. One of them rebelled against him. He was suspicious of that Kakarot from the beginning. But what's worse, Kakarot's not the only one to worry about. There's another Saiyan, one that Frieza never knew of before. All this bad news get to him at once. First, one of his soldiers betrays him. Incredibly annoying, but not too unexpected. Then he finds out there's another Saiyan. Now that was unexpected. And it's obviously a glaring issue. But the worst part of it all, these Saiyans are strong somehow. Now, the Saiyans are powerful warriors. That's the whole reason he had them as part of his army in the first place. But these two are supposed to be low-class warriors, and somehow they're able to kill the Ginyu Force. Actually, only one of them was needed to kill the Ginyu Force because before Kakarot joined, it was just Turles fighting. And Frieza's so confused as to what's going on here. Does it have something to do with those trees? I mean, that's how they found these two in the first place. It seems whatever fruit comes off that tree actually grants him this power, and that gets Frieza interested. So, of course, he wants to kill these two Saiyans, but more so, he wants to figure out what that tree is, how to plant his own tree of might and get fruit from it. If that actually made them so strong, maybe it can make him even stronger too. Of course, his power is already great as is, but why would he turn down the opportunity for more power? Besides wanting to get rid of these thorns in his side, he wants to pursue this new goal. It seems it's probably going to be very worthwhile to go after these two Saiyans. Speaking of them, they're going to continue doing exactly what they've been doing, planting more trees of might, growing stronger and continuing their conquest. And they start doing something else that annoys Frieza a lot. Sometimes it's accidental, but sometimes it's on purpose. They start planting trees on Frieza's planets. You know, the ones that he already owns and makes money off of. Yeah, they completely decimate them by planting trees there. Now, some of it is because they just need to plant trees somewhere, with these planets producing very good fruits. But some of them, they don't even really need to plant trees on. Some are just small planets that won't really give them much power. But by doing this, they're spitting in Frieza's face. They're taunting him directly. And Frieza knows that's what they're doing too. Now, it could just be a coincidence that they're picking up the speed. But that's exactly what's happening. They're picking up the pace and they know Frieza's on their trail. So, why not have fun? Taunt him a bit. And the message has been received. Frieza can tell what they're trying to say. They're trying to say they're better than him. They're not scared of him. But he'll make them scared. He'll make them regret that they ever did this. Not only that, but he'll get that power for himself. The Frieza Force's full attention is turned towards these two Saiyans. They are the biggest threat to the Frieza Force right now after all. Not only in terms of their strength, but the fact that they're trying to take territory from Frieza too. That really pisses him off. Because that's a lot harder to keep track of, and once it's gone, it's gone. And the longer he waits, the stronger they get, the more territory they take, the more planets they destroy. The closer they get to ruling the universe, taking that power from Frieza. And Frieza decides to take it into his own hands. One day, they're able to get intel on a planet that's being pillaged, and it's before a tree is even planted. Perfect. Frieza wastes no time, immediately heading out. He doesn't even take a ship there. That would take too long. He powers up, going into his second form. There's one way to get there faster than a normal ship, flying there himself. He rockets off, trying to get to the planet as quickly as possible. And with his immense speed, it doesn't take too long to get there. Kakarot and Turles can sense a power getting closer, and Kakarot immediately knows who it is. It's Frieza, just as Turles expected too. He makes a crash landing nearby, forming a giant crater as he jumps up out of it. Turles is elated, and so is Kakarot. They can see it right in Frieza's face. He's furious, furious beyond belief. Kakarot's never seen him like this. He's usually so calm and collected, always trying to act formal and as if he's above everybody else. But here, they see some cracks in his facade. This is the first time Frieza's facing something that annoys him this much. A true threat to him and his empire, something that he has to handle himself, and something that he will probably struggle against. And he smirks too, once he sees them. Although, he's surprised Kakarot isn't having a more visceral reaction to seeing his second form. But Kakarot doesn't really care. There's always been rumors that Frieza could transform. And given his power, Kakarot's not really terrified. Really, he's still being cocky after all this. Well, Frieza decides to waste no time exchanging any more words. He just fights them right away, and they oblige. They're not going to turn this down. They knew this was going to have to happen eventually, and it's better to get it over with. He tells them it's pointless. No matter how many fruits they get, it's not going to work. they're not going to be able to get strong enough to face someone like him. His strength, it comes from him being a mutant. This power is an innate ability of his. For them, it's artificial. They have to get it through some external means. Not only is it pathetic in Frieza's eyes, but also it's not too concerning to him. These Saiyans know they're weak. That's why they're pursuing these other means. But Turles says it's actually the opposite. It took struggle to get here. Sure, now it's a lot easier. But before, as low-class warriors, they were naturally disadvantaged. Why wouldn't they take this opportunity? Not to mention, both of them had to struggle before. And how dare Frieza imply that they didn't have to? He's responsible for the destruction of the Saiyan race after all. There's nothing pathetic about this. It's just smart. A way to obtain power quickly and efficiently. A way to spread their influence. And on top of all that, it's a way to prove themselves against Frieza. Get vengeance against him. Kill him. Take over his empire. Take all of his influence. That's what Turles wants, and now it's kind of what Kakarot wants too. It's exciting. The prospect of ruling the universe like this, with this sort of power. Imagine how much stronger they can get once they defeat Frieza. As Saiyans, their strength is limitless. But Frieza retorts, his is limitless as well. He turns into his third form, still fighting the two of them, and surprised to see that it's not doing much. His second form was actually weak against them. And his third form is actually able to somewhat match the two of them together, which gets him a little bit more confident, and makes them a little less confident. Now, the two of them together are able to overpower him still, but the fact that he's this strong alone, well, it's concerning, because what if this isn't his full power? They just need to bide their time for now. The tree that they just planted will sprout some fruits. But time is not on their side, and Frieza realized this. He wants to end this quickly. He knows if he leaves these pests around any longer, they'll just get stronger and be more of a threat to him. He does want to have fun, making their death slow and painful, but at the same time, he knows he can't wait too long for that. So, he goes into his final form. And now, Frieza's power is finally above theirs, just as he thought. And he has a lot of fun doing this. Even in his final form, he's not using his full power, still only at 50%, but it's more than what he needs. It's enough to where he's not overexerting himself, but also enough to where he can have fun. He could torture them, make them truly pay for what they've done, these transgressions against him. He will not let them slide. Death is too swift for them. They need something worse. Single-handedly, Frieza is able to fight off the two Saiyans. Not just that, but he's able to heavily injure them, enjoying it all the while, making it a point that he's going to make this slow. And now he's getting a little bit too cocky. Yeah, before he did want to end it quick, but seeing this advantage, he's not going to let it go to waste. He needs to have his fun, and they need to pay for what they've done too. And even though they're overpowered, there still is one advantage. They outnumber Frieza, even if it is just by one person. No matter how fast or strong Frieza is, they still are two people. And yeah, he can fight two people at once effectively, but if those two people try to split up, it's going to be hard for him to get two of them at once. And that's exactly what they do. They realize they're being backed into a corner, heavily injured. They can't fight Frieza, especially when he's this strong. If only they had a few more fruits. Hell, even one fruit might be enough. If they can get a fruit from this planet, that should be what they need. This planet is relatively large and has a lot of energy within it, and they can tell. Getting a fruit, even if it's just one and they split it in half, they'll feel refreshed, empowered. They'll beat Frieza. Once more, Turles places his trust in Kakarot. He hopes this is the right choice, but he jumps in front of Frieza, taking the full force of his attacks. He's the stronger of the two still. And although it doesn't mean he's stronger than Frieza, it means he'll fare better at holding him off. And that gives Kakarot a little bit of an opening. Just a little opening, but it's enough for him to go escape. And this is why Turles is trusting him. He's hoping that Kakarot isn't just going to be a coward and abandon him. Kakarot definitely does have that option. He could just leave right now. He could also get the fruit and use it for himself. But Turles knows that he and Kakarot have a common goal, and he knows that Kakarot thinks the same too. The two are so similar, and have worked together long enough for this trust to be here. And Kakarot does exactly what Turles needed, once more reconfirming that they could trust each other. Kakarot is able to grab a fruit from the tree, and instead of leaving or just taking the fruit for himself, he even splits it in half, eating one piece for himself, quickly rushing over to Turles to give him the other. Kakarot then attacks Frieza, as Turles eats his half of the fruit. He thanks Kakarot, knowing he could rely on him. And Frieza realized what just happened. He fell right into their trap. Turles was a distraction. The two of them begin powering up, showcasing even more strength than before. And Frieza looks around frantically. There was only one fruit from the tree, and it was a pretty good one. Once again, dining on the fruit of the tree of might has helped them. And they undergo somewhat of an evolution. Not a complete evolution, but they begin changing. A few more fruits and they'll actually reach what they need. But even now, they're starting to showcase some changes. An ominous red aura surrounds them. It's overwhelming, but Frieza isn't deterred by it. He tries to attack them again, but now, his power's not enough. They've tipped the scales. Now, individually, Frieza might stand a chance against one of them, but with both together, they actually do overpower Frieza. At least as he is now. Frieza then showcases his full strength. He hates that he has to use this. Knowing that his other powers weren't sufficient enough, he actually has to use his full strength. It's sickening. But you know what? Whatever it takes to kill these Saiyans, he needs to make sure they're done with. And Frieza going full power actually makes everything even. But the Saiyans can tell. Frieza's getting sloppy. He's injured from the previous fights. The Saiyans are injured too, but the tree might actually help them a bit. They feel replenished, their power restored. And actually, the slower battle works against Frieza. Since it's close to being even, it just prolongs it even more, giving more time for Frieza to lose focus, get angrier, getting sloppier with his attacks too, taking more damage, prolonging the inevitable. And what is the inevitable here? Well, it's Frieza's death. The two Saiyans jump up high in the air. Back to back, they begin charging energy. The reddish aura grows larger, swirling together into a purplish aura. Each of them throw their hands behind their back, charging more and more ki, and then swinging their arms forward. A combined calamity blaster. Frieza tries to counter it himself, and a very short beam struggle ensues, but as Kakarot and Turles put more power into it, it eclipses Frieza's own blast, hitting the Emperor head on and slowly disintegrating him. A massive explosion ensues, knocking the two Saiyans back, and what they see in the aftermath is just a crater, a divot left behind by the attack, leading out into space. The planet is scarred by it. They almost hit the core of the planet, and actually they could see very far down. If the blast were aimed a little bit closer, it would have blown up the planet. So thankfully they avoided that. But now the planet is just completely destroyed, not only from the Tree of Might, but also this attack. Not that it really matters. It's just good that they didn't accidentally blow up the planet in the process, which would have meant they died too. So hey, a stroke of luck there. The two Saiyans retreat, no longer having a reason to be on this planet. Soon enough, of course King Cold would hear about Frieza's death. By now, Turles and Kakarot are long gone, but it won't be hard to find them. They weren't necessarily keeping a low profile before, and now with Frieza dead, they have even less of a reason to keep a low profile. As far as they're concerned, these two are the rulers of the universe now. This is the Neo Crusher Corps, or more simply, the Crusher Duo. King Cold eventually does try and locate them, which they actually did expect. He has the entire Frieza force with him, or at least what remains of it, and they do something pretty interesting. They don't attack the other soldiers. I mean, they could easily kill the rest of the army if they needed, but they just simply tank all the attacks launched towards them. And it's not just because they're trying to display confidence or their strength. Well, at least not towards King Cold. They're displaying their strength towards the Frieza force, of course. The main reason is, they want to keep those soldiers alive. And they tell it to King Cold flat out. Why would they kill these soldiers? That's their new army. King Cold's confused. He has no clue what they mean, but they explain. With Frieza gone, someone's going to need to take over his army, and it's not going to be King Cold. They regret to inform him, but now they're going to lead the Frieza force, or the Crusher force, I guess. This angers King Cold to no end. He tries to fight the two of them, but by now, they've gotten even more fruits within their system, and they're pursuing a higher power. A few more fruits and they should be good. And hey, if they were able to defeat Frieza before, they definitely would have been able to defeat King Cold too, and especially now that they're even stronger than that first encounter. King Cold lunges in, but with a single attack, Kakarot steps in front of Turles, disintegrating King Cold. Within full view of the Frieza force, of course. Turles chuckles, impressed at the style of that execution. He then turns to the army, projecting his voice. Hopefully they heard everything that was discussed just now, and saw what just went down. They weren't bluffing. Turles and Kakarot are their new commanders. Of course, they welcome them to rebel and try to kill them. But after watching how effortlessly they killed King Cold, and remembering the fact that these two killed Frieza, yeah, they're not going to turn against Turles or Kakarot. So, the two Saiyans have accomplished their goals. Their conquest of planets continues. They've grown stronger, planted more trees. They killed Frieza, they killed King Cold, and now they've taken over that army. But still, their work isn't done. No. If anything, procuring this army is only just the beginning of their work. They do have to remember, after all, this is just this galaxy. Likely, there's other factions in the galaxy that they're going to have to deal with, and there's definitely some other factions within the universe as a whole that they'll have to deal with. They're just going to be more efficient now. Otherwise, it's business as usual. Their conquest won't stop. It's just going to speed up. Their influence will grow alongside their power. But with such great strength now, who will they face in the future that could even contend with them? Well, we'll be saving that for the next part and beyond. This is where we'll leave off for now. So, what did you guys think about this part? What do you think's going to happen next time? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video so we get another part of this series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? As well as hitting the bell icon to be notified about any future uploads on my channel, including more parts of the series or any other videos like it. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.